Kings and Queens, Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for returning. Trust you and yours are well and you're loving yourself and others like always. Many thanks to all of you for the support you give to the channel. Thank you so much to our channel members, to our anonymous supporters, to all of you my esteemed subscribers. You're loved, celebrated, and of course appreciated. So we have two stories or two discussions today. The first is that if you have been attentive enough, you would know that Louis Vuitton is selling a bag right now for $3,000. And that bag is what Africans call Ghana must go bag. There is a history behind that bag. And in the continent, I don't think it's up to $5. But Louis Vuitton is selling it for $3,000, a whooping amount of $3,000. Your Majesties. And then we look into the second story of today, which is the world's longest underground crude oil pipeline, if it is a development or a destruction. Remember when the Sahel initially began to agitate, there was something about a pipeline on the ground that was taking, a pipeline construction on the ground, which would take oil from West Africa through to France. And we had a discussion about that. But it's something similar to that again, and I want us to just listen to the discussion, and we'll leave our thought there at the section, right? Now, when you talk about the resources of the motherland, we are aware that Europe and America have their resources as well, okay? They have their oil as well. It's just that there is just a slight difference with their oil and our oil. If they're going to refine their oil, they'll spend a lot of money. Okay, ours is more purer. Little wonder, okay? Africa is the motherland. Africa is the origin of man. So everything here is pure, original. That's on a lighter note anyway, but it's a fact. Now, they do not want to explore theirs because of some of the challenges they might go through, extra work and the rest of them. And again, out of greed, wickedness. That's what I see. Wickedness. But they feel that Africa is the best place to come when it comes to resources, raw materials. They believe that Africa is the best place to come and take out. And while they take out, they don't care about the health hazard that this causes. They don't care whether they are destroying the soil of this continent. They don't care. Theirs is to get some few greedy Africans and then, put this money in their mouth so that they can't talk. And then they take out this oil that they want to take out the resources that they want to take. Remember the man who was, on a summit and life, it wasn't hidden anywhere. It wasn't in any office, closed doors. It was life. He said that for Europe and America to keep living in luxury, that sub-Saharan Africa has to be poor. I will still leave that discussion so that you listen to it keenly as well while this video progresses. So we have to die so that Europe and America will live. We are that scapegoats for them. Okay? We are the ones that will go down 6 feet so that they can live in luxury and be happy. Where is the conscience? Where is the... I don't know. How do these people feel most of the times when they are doing what they do? How do they feel? To them, they're not doing anything wrong because the greedy leaders we have in the motherland have accepted to collect money and sell out these raw materials and resources to them. It is quite unfortunate, Your Majesties. Let's listen to this and then we'll take it up from there.
The world's longest underground crude oil pipeline. Development or destruction? 1,443 kilometers of a heated crude oil pipeline is running between central Uganda through the country of Tanzania to the port of Tanga on the Indian Ocean. This is the work of French energy giant Total Energies, together with the Chinese state-owned company and the Ugandan and Tanzanian state-owned oil and gas companies. This is what is happening right now. This is known as the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, and it is a project that is devastating the communities in East Africa. It is running through sacred East African land, disrupting, upsetting a delicate balance of ecosystem throughout this region that needs our attention. Look what Shell and BP have done to the communities in the Niger Delta in West Africa. Just now, the communities of the Niger Delta who have faced death and destruction for decades by these multi-billion dollar oil and gas companies. Just now they are starting to see some semblance of justice, some semblance of recognition for what these companies have done to these communities for so long. And now the governments of East Africa, of Uganda and Tanzania, go on to sign this death deal with Total Energies.
All right, Majesties. When Yoweri Museveni said that just give me one last time, vote for me one last time. There is something I want to do for you. There is a project I want to execute. Does it mean this very one? You know, this is just a question running through my head, and I just wanted to ask. Does it mean this very one? And what do you think about this development? Is it for good or is it for bad? Your Majesties, why can't our resources be for our own good development and growth? Why must some group of people outside come and tap that we have? I don't know. Is our resources now a curse to us, or it should be a blessing? I don't know. Please help me understand this. Your Majesties, help me understand. And that's why this word keep echoing in my head. For Europe and America to live in luxury, sub-Saharan Africa has to go down, have to live in poverty. They said this loud and clear, in an open. And I don't know why sometimes, why things like this don't go viral. For people to see, for people to hear, especially for Africans and those of African descent. To see, to hear, and understand. Now, to the initial discussion of the Louis Vuitton, selling Ghana must go bag for $3,000. Now, for those who do not really know the backstory behind this bag, it's not just today. It's not just today they are doing this. Almost everything that they are selling, they move around the continent and pick one special thing in each of the countries, and then they market it, they specialize on it, they develop it and market it in thousands of US dollars. They sell these things and people buy them. Now, this very bag, it's called the Ghana Must Go bag. And remember when Nigeria and Ghana had some little feud in the past, when they had some misunderstanding in the past, not this recent one. Before now, something happened in the past, right? It happened that after Ghana chased Nigeria back, Nigeria also started doing well. That was when the oil money started coming in so much, and everybody was living in luxury. That was when, in Nigeria, when you are holding 100 Nigerian naira, it can take you to London and back. It will give you a beautiful life. The value of 100 Nigerian naira was so much that you can live your life without even, you don't need to shake. But what happened to the value of Nigerian naira? They had to listen to the British government, and it is they themselves that brought down the value. They followed the bidding of the British government and brought down the value of the naira because of one or two things. That's the story. There's a story around this issue. They agreed to bring down the value of this naira, not knowing that the British government was playing on them. They never wanted any currency to have a superior power, and they deceived the Nigerian government into demoting the value of their naira. And till today, the naira have no place. The naira is still struggling to go up. Anyway, like I was saying, when Nigerians came back, the oil money started coming in. Everybody was living in luxury. And it happened that things started happening. And it was still around that time. Different people from different parts of West Africa started coming into Nigeria to seek for job opportunities. A lot of Ghanaians came in and started working as teachers. Okay, some Nigerians will bear me witness that some of their teachers those times were Ghanaian teachers, right? They came in, picked jobs they were doing, and everybody was living okay until some issues started, and the Nigerian government believed that it was because of their brothers from other countries that were in their midst that some of this crime is escalating, and they decided to send back some of these brothers and sisters of theirs to their country, to their home country. That was how the Ghana Must Go was birthed. Okay, so we got a lot of Ghanaians who were moving with their loads and everything, and that bag was produced at that time. And from that time on, that bag was called the Ghana Must Go bag, because there was like, an agitation that they should leave. They should, just like what is happening right now, the Nigeria Must Go that is happening right now. It has happened before. Okay, so this was how this bag was birthed. The idea of this bag was birthed. They had to produce something that is a bit durable, that can pack a lot of things, and it's not very heavy. It's not a box, it's a bag. So it's light, it can carry a lot of things. That was how it happened. And here we are, Louis Vuitton coming into West Africa and going out with this idea. They went out with this idea. They didn't even regard it. I don't know how they do their things anyway. And they are selling this bag for 3,000 US dollars.
Louis Vuitton just dropped a bag for $3,000. But for most migrants, this isn't luxury. This is memory. Do you recognize this bag? For working class families, it's shown up wherever immigrants live. Brixton, Whitechapel, Lagos, Accra. It was cheap, tough and plastic. But for Ghanaians and Nigerians, this bag hits very different. It has a much deeper cultural and historical significance. They called it the Ghana Must Go bag because in 1983, the Nigerian government gave Ghanaian immigrants just 14 days to leave the country. No warning, no process, just go. And this was the bag that they literally packed their lives into. It became a symbol of migration, of shame, of strength. And even after that moment, the bag kept moving. African aunties carried it through Heathrow. It showed up in Asian households, Caribbean homes, African markets, until airlines like KLM and Air France banned it, said it might unravel, called it a risk. Now Louis Vuitton is calling it fashion. But do they even know the cultural significance of what they've copied? Because for us, this isn't just a trend. It's legacy, right? You'll see clips of me wearing it as a dress on the red carpet at the 2022 Rated Awards, a dress I got made to honor our communities. If I was advising Louis Vuitton on such a culturally heavy piece like this, I would definitely have suggested that they would create a fund from a percentage of the profits and given them to Ghanaian and Nigerian fashion talent to support the same communities that bag signifies. And that's how you honor culture rather than just copying it.
Okay, so I'm reading this video because I want to get the story right. So in Edward Enninful's memoir, A Visible Man, he talks about this thing called the Ghana Must Go bag, which got its name when millions of people from Ghana were expelled out of Nigeria and could be seen lugging their belongings in these big plastic bags. If you don't know, Edward Enninful is the editor-in-chief of British Vogue, and he himself fled unsafe conditions in Ghana, moving to London as a young teenager. He talked about how Balenciaga did a version of this bag, and I was just curious about the whole backstory, so I tapped on my computer to learn more. So in 1958, Nigeria strikes oil. Of course, oil companies move in and slurp, slurp, slurp. Then the 1970s happens. There's a global oil shortage. This brings money into Nigeria. So people move from rural areas into the cities to access these new jobs, and people move from other countries as well, especially Ghana. Ghana was suffering at the time from plunging prices in cocoa, as well as the coup of their president, Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah was a Pan-Africanist. He had a vision of a united Africa. He was communicating with Martin Luther King Jr. at the time, advocating for freedom of Africans from colonization, as well as civil rights for Black Americans. So some will say he was taken down because he was an authoritarian with unfair elections, and others will say the CIA had a hand in bringing him down because the US was threatened by what he was standing for. I am by no means an expert, but I was really inspired by his views and his vision, so I'm sharing this story in case you want to learn more about him as well. But we're talking about bags here. So on January 17th, 1983, Nigeria declares that anyone without papers has to leave the country by the end of the month. Some will say that this is a retaliation because Ghana expelled Nigerians out of the country 20 years earlier. Others will say that their economy had taken a turn for the worse, and so they wanted foreigners to leave the country. This results in like a sea of people rushing to the border, and there's stampedes. Certain borders are closed, forcing people to wait in the heat without food or water. It ends up being a pretty dire circumstance. These bags are still called Ghana Must Go bags in Ghana and other parts of West Africa, and judging by the comments on my last video, these bags seem to hold different significance for different people in different parts of the world. And so as people mentioned, Demna's interpretation of the Ghana Must Go bag might also be based on his experience fleeing during the Georgian-Russo War, though the collection draws inspiration from North Africa, so I'm not really sure. Louis Vuitton also did a version of this bag, and a similar one sold last year for a stupid amount of money. It's just bonkers. In 2020, Nigerian artist Obina Obioma used the bags to creatively reflect on the experience of migration, again echoing this strong symbolism of the bags. For more on Edward Enninful, check out our podcast where we are covering his memoir, A Visible Man.
This is what they're telling us, that they can never live without an idea that comes from the motherland. They cannot survive. Because in all of just go into their wardrobe and see all that they have. All of them has something that connects to the motherland. They come to Africa and take ideas and go develop on these ideas and sell it. Okay? This is what they are doing. They are making their cool money. And anyway, for those of you who do not know, this is how this bag came to be. And the Africans are saying, oh, so our Ghana must go bag now has become a Louis Vuitton, celebrity bag, a designer bag that you sell for 3,000 US dollars. So I want you to listen to this important discussion and you leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section, Your Majesties.